StudyIQ IAS, अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।
May I come in, sir?
Yes, come in, please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Betty, please. Good afternoon. You are
Manan Bhat.
Manan or Manan?
Manan.
Manan.
Yes.
Manan is kind of introspection.
So, as far as I've seen, it means one who is there for the benefit of others.
Your name means that.
Yes.
Okay. Can you tell me, barring the major difference between Urdu and Hindi, I mean that script is different and writing style, right, left, barring those, what are the similarities between the two languages?
I'm not well sure of the differences. I mean, similarities, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
between the two languages.
What similarities are there? Is there common vocabulary between the two?
So, there are certain grammar which is common between two languages, two writings, and there are certain words which are used in both the languages.
There are certain words or many words?
So, many words are there.
What percentage roughly?
Sorry, sir, I'm not sure of that.
Anthropology is your optional subject.
Yes, sir.
At what stage the human evolution has stopped?
Evolution hasn't stopped. It is still going on. Like you can see, there are certain teeth in humans, like the molars at the end, which have stopped working because of the change in diets of the human. So evolution as such hasn't stopped. It's still going on.
Some important examples of latest evolution.
So latest evolution examples is the molars at the back end of the humans. One is that. So second is the change in the photoreceptor of eyes. Like, for example, earlier humans had a fixed sleeping time, but now what is happening because of cosmopolitan nature of development, people are tending to sleep at later at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. So photoreceptors are in the direction of evolution where there are certain changes in the photoreceptors as well.
Why human beings are physically so different from place to place, from country to country?
I mean, there is difference basis on the ethnic basis, where change in the environment, outside environment, nature has brought up physical changes in the humans.
Okay. I see very interesting hobby in your listed extracurricular interests. That is, you had something to do with the orphanages.
Yes, sir.
What were you doing there?
Sir, it is J&K Yatim Trust. Mostly I was there for the collection of clothing and the food, and at the weekends during college time we used to go for the classes.
Achha, this was during your college. Part of the college project?
No, sir, it was not a college project. It was a voluntary project.
Voluntary.
Me and my friends used to do this.
So if it was voluntary, I'm sure that you must be at some stage would like to carry it forward in your life.
So after that, actually, I shifted to Bangalore for my job, so I was not able to follow it up after that. Definitely, if I'm back in my city, I'll definitely try to carry it forward.
Why in your city? Bangalore is also your city. Bangalore would have a number of orphanages and number of children who have nobody to take care of.
So I was not able to carry forward in the Bangalore.
No, what I'm asking is, would you like to take it forward in your future life as civil servant?
Yes, sir, definitely I'll try to.
Definitely. My last question to you, your town, Nowshera.
Yes.
It had experienced some floods.
Nowshera in Srinagar. One Nowshera is in Rajouri. And one Nowshera is in Srinagar.
Achha, this is Srinagar.
And this is part of Srinagar, which was founded by Zainul Abidin.
There were no floods there.
So there were floods in 2014 because of the overflowing of Jhelum.
Well, why? I mean, what were the major factors in these floods?
So what
caused them?
So the major factors was the rapid urbanization of the Srinagar city. That was the major part, and there was
rapid urbanization.
Because of that, the flood channels, natural flood channels, which were there within the city, they have been leveled off because of the buildings which have come up in those areas.
No, that's a good explanation. But the water came from where?
There was unprecedented rainfall actually above the normal limits.
Abnormal rains?
Yes, sir.
Continuously?
Yes, sir. At least for around 10 or 11 days.
Continuous.
Not continuous, it was in breaks, but it was coming.
Were there landslides also?
In certain rural areas of Anantnag, there were certain landslides.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Where does Kashmir get its name from?
Kashmir gets its name. There's a saying, historical saying, that there was a sage, a Vedic sage known as Rishi Kashyap, who tried to settle the Brahmins within the valley, and because of his name, Kashmir got its name.
And Srinagar?
Srinagar got its name because it was the city was tried to settle by Ashok, King Ashok, near the area called as Pandretan. It is near Srinagar, around 5 kilometers, and Srinagar means the city of wealth.
Okay, very good. And who is Kota Rani?
Kota Rani was a queen, I think, from Lohara dynasty.
Yeah. She ruled from when to when?
So I'm not well sure of the dates.
Doesn't matter. Who was the first Muslim ruler of Kashmir?
So the Shamiri dynasty was the first Muslim dynasty, and the name of the king was Shamir.
Sadruddin Shah.
So as far as I can remember, his name was Shamir. I'll just read about it.
You check it up. He was there from 1320 to 1323. Anyway, who is the writer of Tantra Lok?
So I'm not sure about it.
You've heard about this book?
I have heard about this book, but I don't remember the name of the writer.
Abhinav Gupta. It's very famous. Anyway, what is the relationship of Lord Ram with Kashmir?
I'm not aware of this.
The dialogue with Yog Vashisht, it happened in Kashmir.
Sir, I'll read about it.
Yeah, Rishi Vashisht, that Yog Vashisht which was written, that was. And what is the relationship of Buddhism with Kashmir? What part of Buddhism came from Kashmir?
So with respect to Buddhism, the 4th Buddhist Council took place in Kundalwani, which is in Harwan, in Kashmir. So there was division of Buddhism into 2 sects, Hinayan and Mahayana. And out of Kashmir came the Mahayana sect, the greater wheel.
The one which deals with compassion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, tell me, has the Indian Parliament passed any resolution about taking back POK, or they have not passed?
So there, as far as I can remember, there have been a resolution around in 1990s about taking back POK.
Yeah, 22nd February 1994.
Yes, sir.
Proper resolution passed.
Yes.
You passed out from school when?
My college got passed out in 2016.
No, school.
School 2012. 2011.
So since then, have you noticed 2 structural changes in the economic ecosystem which have made a difference in your life? Can you name 2 structural changes?
So the startup culture which has come up within the economy is one.
Okay.
Second is the growth of service-led economy, which has affected my life. Like, sir, for example,
Okay. What about how do you make your payments now?
Beam app is there. Beam UPI. Yes, sir.
That has made a difference in common man's life, isn't
Yes,
it? And what about what tax you pay on the goods you buy?
So GST.
It's made a fundamental change in people's.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Manan Bhat,
Yes.
the surname Bhat and others also have common with the Hindus,
Kashmiri Pandits.
Kashmiri Pandits. What does this show?
So this shows that Kashmir as its entirety was a Hindu majority state.
Okay.
Then there were certain Muslim rulers or Muslim saints, like the Sufi saints. There was Shah Sayyid Ali Hamdani was there, or Bulbul Shah, who came to the valley of Kashmir, and as a result of that, conversion has taken place within the valley. So my origin can be seen as a Kashmiri Pandit who have converted later.
Okay, good. Anybody else in service? Anybody in service from your family?
No, sir.
In,
My parents were there.
in government service?
Yes, sir. They have retired.
Okay, they settled in J&K, the Kashmir service only, J&K service?
So my mother was in Kashmir Administrative Services.
Administrative service. Okay. Now tell me something about cyber crimes. What will you do to control the cyber crimes? You are a computer engineer.
So cyber crimes are the crimes which take place on the cyberspace, Like I can give you examples of cyber crimes. There is fraud, economic frauds which take place on the cyberspace. There is virtual terrorism which takes place on the cyberspace, or there is bullying which takes. These are different types of cyber crimes which take place. We have taken certain steps. There is a national cyber policy of 2011 by the government of India, and for certain projects or certain areas, like there is the critical infrastructure. For that, we have a national critical protection centers which try to protect these critical infrastructures on the cyber side.
Is there anything latest that this crooks who have come up that they don't need any OTP from you to hack your account?
So there are different types of economic frauds which take place, like there is phishing or there is whisking. And recently what we have seen, they just try to make a missed call on your phone, and when you pick up the call, that's it. They will deduct money from your account.
Okay.
Only if you are on net banking, isn't it?
Yes, if you have the debit card, credit card, or you're in net banking.
Up to what limit they can withdraw the money?
Maybe a transaction limit is there on a UPI, like a 20,000 means as much as you can transact on the UPI, your limit increases. Initial limit of UPI is a 20,000 rupees. So this might be the limit which they can withdraw.
Okay. Tell me something about drone technology. Now the drones have come, many type of drones. So tell me about the technology that is being used.
So drones are electronic systems which work on certain radar principles, and there are steering principles also within the drone system itself. There are various uses of drones. Like we have recently seen in Uttarakhand, they have delivered medicines from AIIMS Rishikesh to a village within that. And there, it can be even in the security apparatus. We have seen that they can be used. Like we have seen DRDO's K4 system is there, anti-droning system, which has tried to shoot down the drones on the border areas. So, sir, apart from that, in the agriculture itself, drones can be used. So, for weather monitoring systems, drones can be used if sensors are placed on the drone systems itself. So, these are the areas I'm able to recall as of now.
Right. Thank you.
Manan, there are so many kadals on the banks of Jhelum River in Kashmir Valley. Of the 7 kadals, which kadal, according to you, is the well-organized human settlement?
So you're talking about bridges on the Jhelum River.
Bridges and the settlement, Haba kadal. There are a lot of people living both sides. I'm talking about human settlement on these kadals.
So, on the Habakadal, there was a
I am not talking Haba kadal. 7 kadals, which one is the, in your view, well organized, well planned human settlement?
so there is Amira Kadal is there,
Amira kadal
which is a major business center.
Uh-huh. Yeah, my question is more related to your discipline, anthropology
Yes, sir.
and human settlement, planned city, urbanization.
Yes, sir.
What is the best administrative point of view? What do you think well planned human settlement?
So, if we see on the Jhelum, the Habakadal bridge is there because of the ancient settlements which have been there on the Habakadal bridge, because most major of the Kashmiri Pandit communities and the Muslim communities used to live in those regions, in that area. So that area can be considered as a well established human settlement.
How do we see a planned city? In what are the parameters by which we compare and measure which is better? What are the parameters? 3 parameters.
So it should be based on a master plan wherein there is equal spacing for the drainage system. So second and foremost is the green spaces should be available within the city, and the city should not be a urban island. I mean, the city should have certain absorption characteristics. Like we have seen recently, urban flooding is taking place in major cities of the nation. So there should be a spawn system within the city wherein that water can be used as a groundwater recharge or rainwater harvesting.
Waste management.
Yes, sir. Waste management.
Okay, in that case, Habakadal is a good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Cross-border terrorism is increasing. At times it precipitates. What are the terrorist organizations operating in Pakistan and Afghanistan which are creating problems for India's security and stability? In the point of view of J&K border.
So one is Hizbul Mujahideen, which is considered to be operating mostly in the Srinagar city.
Okay.
Second is Lashkar-e-Toiba,
Lashkar-e-Taiba.
and within the Pakistan, the emergence of recently TTP, Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which is creating attacks within the city of Pakistan. I mean, different cities of Pakistan. That can be a threat in the future if there is economic instability in Pakistan.
Now you have to safeguard our territory as an IFS officer, as an IPS officer. Police administration and police administration, let us see. You are posted in Pulwama as an IPS officer. How would you take care?
So with respect to the attacks,
terrorism, cross-border terrorism, that's all.
So first and foremost, to prevent cross-border terrorism, if given an opportunity, I will like to have a DGMO talks at the national level between the two security chiefs of the country. At a city level, at the Pulwama level, I will have better security apparatus, like there was a state investigation authority which has been recently set up by the government of Jammu and Kashmir, so that cases can be prosecuted at a faster level. And there should be sensitization of youth at the ground level so that they do not get detract from the path. And at the education level, I will try to, being an IPS officer, I can suggest the administration to have a curriculum on peace studies within the education system, so that people know the reality, how important peace is for how much important peace is for the stability of a society. And for the youth, I will like to have better entrepreneurship schemes. Like administration has done certain schemes, like there is a Himayat scheme or Tejaswini scheme at the ground level, so that better employment opportunities and livelihoods are there for the youth.
As an IFS officer, you have been sent to Pakistan as a IFS officer. You suggest measures to reduce tension between these two countries, neighboring countries. What are your plan of action? 2, 3.
So one I can suggest is national security advisory talks. For the like, there have been talks because of which we have been able to have a ceasefire plan with the Pakistan of 2021. So second and foremost, as a confidence building measure, we can send back our representatives of the high commissioners we can send back as a confidence building measure. So
can we increase our economic ties and our tourist and religious ties or anything of that sort?
Yes, so certain confidence building measures can be
cultural diplomacy, anything you feel?
Yes, we can do.
The river system in Ladakh, okay, Kargil and Janskar and all area. What are the major tributaries of Indus River, and are there any issues?
So for the Indus, there is Nubra, there is Shyok, Zanskar River is there. These are the three tributaries.
Kargil?
Yes, Kargil.
There is a river.
There is a river, but it's...
Recently, there is a tunnel. They have built a tunnel to access the border area. You know the crisis situation there? 5 fingers. What are the 5 fingers?
So, as per the China's
international dialogue, China talks about 5 fingers of the palm. Which are the areas?
So, Nepal is there.
Nepal? No. Only Arunachal and Ladakh region, which are the 5 fingers. It was in the news a few months back.
So I'm not aware.
Even now.
So I'm not aware of the 5 fingers.
Okay.
I'll read about it.
That is lake, you know, the border lake.
Pangong Tso Lake.
On the banks of it. Okay, sir.
Okay, Manan. So, from which field would you like me to ask questions?
So any field. I mean, I don't have a problem in
any field.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's get to Kashmir first. Like it is said that there is heavy army presence in Kashmir. So, can you tell us what is the difficulty in living with the army?
Sir, recently there was a report from Ministry of Home Affairs.
No, tell me something from your own experiences. have you lived in Kashmir
Yes, sir.
recently?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so what is the difficulty? You have been living in Delhi as well, you have come to Delhi. So what is the difficulty that people face on ground?
So, I can give you an instance. Like, for example, when there is a presence of a militant within a particular area, so what initially used to happen and what now is there, initially there used to be a cordon and search operation carried out by either the Central Armed Police Forces, that the CRPF, or the army person used to be there. So there used to be cordon for the entire village, and because of that, people had to come out of their homes, and that used to create a sort of distrust between the people and the army. And because of that, there used to be stone pelting incidents, as we have seen lately. But now, what exactly is happening because of the increase in technology by the army? They are pinpointing the houses where the militants have been hiding or the terrorists have been hiding. So what happens because of that? They don't have to cordon off the entire village. They just have to pinpoint a particular house where they can carry out the operation. And what has happened because of that? Stone pelting has reduced. The level of distrust has reduced at the ground
Okay.
level.
So now the situation is improving.
Yes, sir. That is the major reason why stone pelting has gone up. And the other factors like money laundering has stopped. They have cracked down on the networks.
Okay, so that's very good news. You are in electronics and communication engineer, and in recent times, ChatGPT is in news very
Yes, sir.
much. What is this?
So ChatGPT is an AI-based search engine which works on natural language processing.
Hmm.
So what it does, it has a data set which is fed to it. There is a stop date for the data set. When you type something, there is an algorithm behind it where it tries to locate what exactly are the words you have typed, and based on the data which it has fed, it is trying to feed you the information. For example, there are different words you type. Based on the data set and the neural network, there is a concept called neural network where it tries to connect with all the data sets that it has been fed. It tries to generate data for you.
So how is it different from Google? Google also does the same thing. If I type something, it suggests me the next word as well. It gives me searches across the globe. It has all the data of across the globe. So how is it different from the Google?
So for Google, the algorithm is based when you type something, it will try to locate wherever the data resource is located on the web. It does not have a data set which has been fed to it. For ChatGPT, there is a data set which has been fed.
Do you know how search engine works?
So elaborately, I'm not aware of.
No, isn't it part of network design?
Yes, sir, it is a part of network. But major difference between the ChatGPT and Google is the data set which has been fed to the both.
Yeah, major difference is one is based on artificial intelligence, where it learns from whatever I am giving information to it. Whereas Google has listed down its own information, and based on its own listing, it gives me the prioritized web results. Okay, thank you.
Yes, Manan, there are very contrasting opinion, and we want your personal impression on that. That with the change of status of J&K, it has achieved nothing meaningful, except that the entire region has been converted into a police state oblique military state.
With respect to this statement, it might be a far-fetched statement. So what I can say based on the records which have come up or the data facts which have come up, after the deoperationalization of Article 370, there has been a record tourist flow in 2022. Around 1.4 crore tourists have flown annually. So on that front, we can see that the situation has normalized. Or on the economic side, I can say that there was an industrial policy which has come, which industrial policy of 2020, around of 28,400 crores, and there has been a investment from the JSW steel plant of around 1200 crore. So on the polity side, if we see on the polity side, there has been establishment of DDCs at the ground level for the grassroots democracy, increasing of grassroots democracy. So on the social angle, we can see that there was reservations for the scheduled tribes, scheduled caste and scheduled tribe was not there. So that has been given by the Delimitation Commission. So, and there was a law wherein if a woman married to an outsider, she used to lose her state subject. And that law has been abrogated, removed. So we can see improvement on ground has happened.
Do you foresee elections taking place in near future, or it might be postponed on some reason or the other?
So there was a talk that elections might take place in May 2023. hopefully election should take place so that the popular representation of the people is there on the ground for the developmental process.
What do people feel generally, and what do you feel that should be, or they will be held soon?
As of now, there hasn't been a political discourse within the valley for the elections because the Delimitation Commission has just submitted its report, and hopefully by the year end, election should happen.
Okay, thank you very much. You please wait outside, we just get you back.
Thank you, sir.
This is your third attempt,
Yes, sir.
and when is the interview scheduled?
So 16th of March.
While you are in Delhi, you've been here for how long now?
So I think 20-25 days.
I would suggest that, kind of observe life in Delhi,
Okay.
make some impressions of your own,
Okay.
because you are kind of coming and staying here. I don't know whether it's first time or maybe you come earlier, but they generally ask questions as to what are your impressions, and maybe they can be specific. So read
Okay.
more about Delhi, the problems of Delhi, including the governance of Delhi,
Okay, sir.
because it's also a union territory like your place.
Yes, sir.
So Manan, you have, in the board's view, you scored very well. You should be happy that, you are absolutely in the zone to break take the last jump. You see, after initial hiccups, you of course improved. And I told you right in the beginning, and then subsequently, probably individually, we all were feeling that you are not loud enough. Now, loud enough doesn't mean that you are not reaching us.
Okay.
When your volume is kind of monotonous and low, like you were in the beginning, and then in between also, like you did make efforts. So what happens is that it reflects on your energy.
Okay, sir.
The body language is very important. It is not interview, it is personality test.
Yes, sir.
You are a smart, healthy looking person, and very nicely turned out. And what we particularly noticed that you are very calm. There are no fidgety movements, your hand gestures, everything in control. So these are very, very plus points for interview. Your arguments content wise were definitely good. You have plenty of material too. I don't think you got stuck anywhere to say sorry that I do not know. Maybe one odd time, which is perfectly fine. 4-5 times, even if 4-5 times you have to say sorry, I do not know, but then say it with a kind of confidence. I'm sorry, sir, I do not know. The emphasis should be on sir.
Okay, sir.
Like when you were answering one of the members, you said, I can give you an instance. I can give you an instance, sir. Now, this may sound colonial,
Yes, sir.
but these are formal settings. And we are conversing in English. So English heavily relies on etiquettes.
Okay.
Soft skills. So these are finer tones of communication. So we shouldn't forget that. You should also try and avoid the expression you. When you were talking about Google and that ChatGPT.
Yes, sir.
So you said, when you type this, you told me what I can tell you. And then you corrected later what I can say.
Okay.
So just delete this you from your conversation, from your answers.
Okay, sir.
Instead, you say what we can say, or what I can say, or what one can say.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Formal. It's a formal setting. So one has to be careful. We are not kind of sitting and chatting in an informal, friendly manner. So these are some kind of cosmetic corrections, but very important. And of course, smile a bit and look around. You are ignoring most of the members. Till your turn came to speak to the other member, you didn't know whether our friend there exists at all, or kind of. So when you answer, during the answer, when you start your answer, then gently look around. Once in a while, not continuously. Give a glance to other members.
So on the entire panel or one or two? I mean,
One or two. In one go, one or two.
See, if you don't look at others, then they'll start doing WhatsApp, but they'll not even be bothered what you are saying.
okay.
So you will lose on marks.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So you start answering to the person who has asked, and then look at others also,
Okay,
so
sir.
that everybody is attentive towards your reply.
Yes.
Like he's very nicely added WhatsApp. It's a disease. I say people don't hesitate WhatsApping during even while sitting in the interview board, and UPSC is no exception.
Because you are doing one-to-one conversation only. So you are leaving the gap yourself.
Yes, sir.
Take everyone along with your dialogue.
Sir, actually, in one interview before, I tried, when I was answering, I was looking at everyone.
No.
And-
You should not be dramatic.
And there was a suggestion, while you are looking at others, you are trying to lose the concentration of the person who is asking the question.
The very simple way is that you listen to the question very attentively. Don't look around, just look at the member who is asking you. The minute you start answering and you have uttered one or two sentences, then you are in control of your answer, isn't it? And you know what would be your third or fourth sentence. Then during that, gently look one side.
Okay, sir.
Maybe in the next question you can look the other side.
Okay.
You don't have to kind of encircle the entire this thing.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
So smile and distribute smiles. That's what I have noted down.
Okay, sir.
Smile at, kind of gentle smile. It's a respectful smile. All the very best to you. You are going to do very good. Okay.
Prophet had beard?
All the very best to you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
StudyIQ IAS अब तैयारी हुई अफोर्डेबल।